What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new show. We're doing politics right now. We are going to talk about Kamala Harris and this whole accent and all this other stuff that's going on that's irrelevant to any kind of policy changes. So we're going to talk about all that. But let me say what's up to the people, of course. What's up, Melanie? Shout out to everybody on Facebook. Shout out to Grandma Joy. Thank you for being here. Hello, hello, hello. Demetria, thank you for holding it down. Thank you for sharing the links as well too. I appreciate that. Thank you to is it Tawana? Tawana, thank you for being here. Shout out to everybody. What's up, Lala? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to everybody being here. All right. So, what's up, Annie? So, I didn't get a chance to like really talk about this whole accent thing because I just thought it was stupid. But what inspired me to talk about it is that I'm realizing that all this stuff about her accent, questioning whether or not she's black or not, that's all coming from us. And what I mean by us is the black people. It all that stuff is coming from us, and then it's emboldening these people to talk about her race, her quote unquote accent, and all this other stuff. They should never have to question her race or how she talks. And that's the dumbest thing ever. So when we are allowing that disrespect, it's letting them know, like, oh, well, they don't like her either. They don't think she's black. They don't like the way she talks. So, or they think she's pandering, blah, blah, blah. So this gives us a right to disrespect her. That's basically what's going on. We are literally giving these right wingers, these Trump and people like him, the right to disrespect this woman. And again, am I telling you that you need to vote for her? No. I want you guys to know I'm not telling you guys that you need to vote for Kamala or you need to like her. I'm not saying that at all. However, what I'm saying is you have to be careful in what you say. And that goes for me too. Because say if I'm talking about a celebrity or something like that, right? Say if I'm talking about Jay-Z and I'm calling him an MFer and calling him all this stuff. Well, somebody of a different hue or a different shade of melanin or not enough melanin could be all like, oh, well, he's disrespecting Jay-Z and he's saying this and that about Jay-Z. So that gives me the right to be able to disrespect Jay-Z and call him an MFer and all this other stuff. Just like I know there was a situation recently with Jag, there was somebody Caucasian who said she got soup cooler lips and all this other, all the stereotypes and, derogatory terms about black people. Basically, that's what they were saying without saying the N word. And they got mad at the white dude for saying it. But at the end of the day, well, y'all say the same things about her. And so if they're hanging around and they hear you saying it, then yeah, they're going to feel like it's okay for them to say as well too. So we got to be careful about the stuff that we're saying. And I think one going on for the whole accent thing, that they're trying to claim that she was trying to, do it up or whatever and sound blacker, right? I think it was just in the heat of the moment, and she was trying to make a point, and she was emphasizing on it. I think honestly, that's what it was. Did I find it a little cringe? Yeah, it was a little cringe, but for her to say, and for them to say, "Oh, she put it on like this Southern dialect or this Southern accent and all this other stuff," is dumb. It's dumb. I literally was on TikTok and this white lady was all like, "Oh, I never heard of the word code switching," because people were trying to let her know, like, "Oh, it's code switching." How we go to a job, we sound one way, and then when we with our friends or with our family, we sound another way, right? So again, you know how to sound when you're in a professional setting. Well, you know how to speak when you're in a professional setting, and then when you at home or with your friends or with your people, you speak a different way. It's code switching. It gets you through life. It's a survival tactic. Especially I know about that because I worked in a call center. where you had to sound professional and you were talking to these hoity-toity customers that had, well, they thought they had money. Not all of them had money, but they expected to be treated a certain kind of way. So you had to talk and act a certain kind of way to please them, you know? Yeah, we have Lee Daniels calling white women the fabric. Hold on, because I do have a point about that. Hold on, before we get to that, because I do have a point about that. I don't care what nationality she is. I'm voting for my democracy. Thank you, Annie. And yeah, let's talk about the race thing. Her nationality, ethnicity. We can talk about all that, right? She was born here in this country, so she's American. Her dad's Jamaican, and then her mom is Indian. So she has a mixture of both, right? Um, I think we have a disdain for biracial people. Just like I said, I think we have a disdain for people who vote outside their, not vote, I'm sorry, who date outside their race. I think we still have a stigma around it, and we're not being honest about it. Because that lady, talking about Kamala, has never said she was not black. And I've always said, please pull up a clip where she says, I'm not black. No one has found a clip where she says, I'm not black. Now, they'll find clips where she's talking about her Indian heritage, and they'll be like, oh, see. Well, yeah, because that's a part of her heritage. That's where she's talking about it, right? They still have not produced a clip where she says, I am not black. So what they'll do is convert to that old clip in 2019, in which they chop up that clip, by the way. They don't play the whole thing. Because they say, oh, well, she's never said that she's not black. They'll be like, oh, well, she said she wasn't going to do nothing for black people. Let me see if do I have battery on the phone? Oh, yes, I do. Let me try to look it up right now. Hold on. I think I played this clip before, but I feel like I need to make it into a commercial so people will know. You know what I mean? The Griot Kamala.
One of the questions that the Black community
Let's
has
listen.
is, Senator Harris, if you are elected president, what would be your agenda for the Black community?
Right.
We know that Black Americans are arrested at higher rates for marijuana. We're denied mortgages when we loans for mortgages. There's a wealth disparity. So how do you help the Black community from the White House?
That's right. Well, the first step is to understand that the needs of Black folks are the needs of everyone, and the needs of everyone are the needs of Black folks. It is also equally important to understand that this is a country that had over 200 years of slavery, had Jim Crow, had legalized segregation and discrimination, and now de facto segregation and discrimination. And so while our needs are like everyone else's in terms of we want our babies to be born healthy and live a happy and productive life, we care about issues of climate change, we care about issues of national security. We also know that when you look at disparities around wealth, around home ownership, around education, around who is stopped, arrested, and incarcerated in this country, there are huge disparities based on race, and that has to be dealt with. So part of my proposal,
that's her daddy, by the way,
specifically for Black folks, is about what we need to do, for example, around maternal mortality. I have actually sponsored a bill, and that has to be dealt with.
Hold on, let me rewind that part, because she's talking about what needs to be done specifically for Black people. Go ahead and play that.
So part of my proposal, in terms of the agenda, specifically for Black folks, is about what we need to do, for example, around maternal mortality. I have actually sponsored a bill and intend, as President of the United States, to make sure it is passed, around recognizing that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth. And when you study the issue, you know that it is not about the education level of somebody, it is not about their socioeconomic level, it is literally about their race. Remember what happened to Serena. It is literally about racial bias in the medical health professions that cause people to not take Black women seriously when they walk into the door of that hospital or that emergency room in terms of how they talk about what they need. The agenda includes HBCUs, for example. I am a proud graduate of Howard University. I know that our HBCUs...
And remember, this was in 2009, and we know that they gave $16 billion to HBCUs.
...have raised and helped raise generations of leaders in this country, and do it in a very special way that is about nurturing and about creating high standards and challenging young people to be their best, not giving them any excuse, but giving them all kinds of support. So we need to do more. Yeah, I'm right now working on, and actually got it out of the Senate, and the House passed it around giving more money to HBCUs around their historic landmarks. But there's more to be done around creating incentives for more young people to go into the STEM professions through HBCUs. There's what we need to do around the point that you're raising about the economic disparities. I have a proposal that will be my first order of business when elected president, that is about lifting up middle-class working families. And what I'm proposing specifically is that families that are making $100,000 or less would get a tax credit, that they would receive it up to $500 a month. This proposal, economists across the board have said, would be the most significant middle-class tax cut for American families and generations, and it would lift up 60% of Black families out of poverty.
So it does touch Black families.
Oh, absolutely. Directly.
About the middle
Directly.
Right. She's been talking about the middle class. Most Black people, believe it or not, everybody thinks that all Black people are poor. No, most Black people are middle class and above. That's a fact. You can look it up.
Look at the proportionality of where Black families are. You see it in terms of housing and home ownership, where white families, something, I'm going to get this generally right, but something around 70% of white families own their homes versus somewhere around 40% for Black families.
Yeah.
So you don't have to look very hard to see that disparities exist. But you also don't have to look very hard to see this, that when we're talking about families, regardless of their color, they have an equal desire to work hard, to love their children, and allow them to have a pathway and an equal pathway to success.
No, this is where she get into the political answer.
White mothers of whatever race wake up in the middle of the night worrying about their children and their health and their well-being, and we need to address that. But I will say there's another issue that we need to address that's specific to Black families, and that is this. We cannot have a society where a father or a mother, by the time their son turns about 12 years old, has to sit down and have the talk with him about how he will be stopped or chased or arrested or even killed because of the color of his skin.
And so how do you intend to change that from the White House? How would you change policy around that?
Part of it is that the president makes a decision about who's going to run the United States Department of Justice. Currently, under this administration, they have shut down the pattern and practice investigations that involve investigating police departments that have a pattern and practice of discrimination. Those need to be reopened and revived with vigor, because no American should want that a police department that has a history and a pattern and practice of discrimination should be able to get away with that without consequence and accountability. Another issue is what happens through the Department of Justice around consent decrees, which are basically a requirement that police departments that have a history of that kind of behavior, they're under a court order for supervision. This Department of Justice has essentially shut the...
Hold on. Cammie, you would be middle class on paper. I understand there's a middle class between reality and paying bills, and then I understand there's a middle class on paper. You would be middle class on paper. Let me clarify.
Goes down.
Right.
First order of business for me would be to revive those.
Okay. That didn't have the part where she said I can... Okay, I would have to play the full thing. But I'm glad that I did play that part, because basically she's addressing the issues. And what she was alluding to is that the struggles that we have as Black people, those are the struggles of other Americans, no matter what race. But what she's saying literally is that, yes, I am going to help Black people, and these are the policies that are going to help Black people. Now, I think, and again, this was in 2019, I believe at that time, coming on so strong and being a Black candidate and saying that I have this agenda for Black people, they would attack her. Just like now, if she says I have policies just for Black people, they are going to destroy her in the media. So like she said, she has to articulate it in a way where it doesn't upset the masses. So I totally get what she was doing at that time. Again, this was in 2019. Now, an argument that you can have today is that, well, Kamala, I don't see your policies on your website. Where are your policies on your website, the Harris website? They're not on there. Do we know if there's a policy specifically for Black people on her website? No. I know, and I want to correct something too, because a lot of people bring up that, oh, well, Trump adopted the Platinum Plan. That was in 2020. If you go to Trump's website now, it's Agenda 47, and that has no plan towards Black people at all. It has nothing about helping out Black people on his plan. So my thing, if you're going to hold her to a standard, we need to hold him to a standard, right? And ask him what his policy is for Black people. Just like today, he couldn't answer how he was going to help with childcare. He literally had a whole word salad about childcare. What's up, Kiki? What's up, Stephanie? I seen y'all in there. I just didn't want to stop. And again, I don't understand when you guys say her dad isn't Black. Like, literally, her dad is Black. Now, he has Irish heritage in him, but I feel like if we're going to go with that, because they bring up like, oh, well, she has Irish heritage and they were slaves. Well, you know that if you're Black American, you came from a slave owner, right? Just like her Irish side owned slaves. Well, yeah, our Irish British owned slaves too. Why do you think my last name is Turner? Why do you think so many Black people got the last name Jones and Johnson? Because more than likely their slave owners were Irish. So yeah, and you know I did my 21andMe. So you know all about that. So yeah, we all are mixed. Or have not, I don't want to say we're all mixed, but we all have some past heritage that connects us to the slave master. Thank you, Yolanda. My grandfather was white, but I'm still Black. Yeah, I'm still a Black woman. Right. I'm Black and I have Scottish heritage. Exactly. We are literally picking apart things. And like I said, I showed her daddy who her daddy was. That looked like a Black man to me. And her dad is not, a lot of people are saying her dad is Indian. Her dad is not Indian. Now, I think when they think Indian, they're not realizing like they mean like native. He has like native ancestry in him, like native Irish and Black. But they're not saying Indian as in from India. Her mom is Indian. That's what I think that's what people are getting confused with. I'm from Louisiana and we all have French names. My last name is it Plodin? Plodin. When I researched, I went all the way to the 1600s. Plodin was a white slave owner last name. Exactly. Ding, 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 ding. Give me. Okay, so I have a question. About this. The DNA test thing. Okay. So if Kamala does a DNA test and it shows that she is Black, will we still say that she's not Black? Or are we going to go by the percentage and say she needs mostly Black in her percentage in order to be like, how far are we going to take it? That's why doing the CNN interview where Dana Bash asked her about, oh, what's your thoughts on Trump, questioning your race and stuff like that. And she said it's out of his old playbook. And then she was like, do you have anything else to say? And she was all like, next question. Kamala answered that in the right way. Why does she have to answer to a white man about what her nationality, what her race is? Why does she have to answer that? She doesn't. Now, y'all didn't like when I brought it up, but Kamala came from a whatchamacallit, Miss Alberta. Now, her mama is Miss Alberta Tiki Masala. So she came from a Miss Alberta Tiki Masala, but she still is black. And ain't nothing wrong with it. Again. And I just wonder too, because a lot of people that say, oh, I don't, what's up, Blessing? I don't like, whatchamacallit? No. What am I trying to say? I'm losing my train of thought real quick. When they say, oh, well, she's biracial or whatever, right? My thing is like, what do you tell your biracial children? Like, do you tell your biracial children they ain't black? If you tell your biracial children they ain't black, I don't want to hear them use the N-word. I don't want to hear them talk with no black dialect. I don't want to, I don't want them being with the culture. I want them to act like a biracial. But let me ask you, how is a biracial supposed to act? I just feel like it's so many different questions that people don't want to answer. Right, Melanie, she shouldn't have to answer the question to anyone. It's dumb. You can't actually tell someone's race categorization from DNA. There's not a standard set genetic markers that indicate a specific racial category. Well, I know the way they do it is basically they take samples from everybody, right? And so they'd be like, oh, well, based on your DNA, most of these people come from here, most of these people come from there. That's how they do it. It's not completely accurate, but it gives you an idea. Yeah, poetic. I know it's ignorance, right? When slavery ended, my great-grandmother's children were given 2 acres of land each by their owner. See? Obama had to prove because Trump was picking on him. Right. He had to show his what's up, Juice? He had to show his birth certificate. Even when he showed his birth certificate, they said he still wasn't black. Because they said based on the year that he was born, it should have said Negro and not black. So he still couldn't win. So why would Kamala need to answer anything if they're still going to question her identity no matter what? People are who they identify themselves as, and if she is asked, I'm sure she will say she is black and proud. But Freddie, that's the thing. They've already asked her about it. And her thing is like, why do I have to keep answering this? And it's all like, whether she's black or not is irrelevant. And I think this kind of goes to, and this is going to be unpopular opinion, but let's talk about it. There's always this question about, oh, black people are voting for her because she's black. Okay, I don't see anything wrong with it. What's wrong with that? I don't see nothing wrong with people voting for her because she's black. Do we talk about how I don't want to say the actual word, but the triple Ks, the people that got the Kardashian. Do we talk about the far right? Do we talk about the white nationalists, how they vote for the white candidate? So why can't the blacks vote for the blacks? And the triple K team with the white hoods, the white nationalists vote for the white candidate? I don't understand that. What's the difference? What's the difference? That's what I want to know. No, Pat, I know something. You can't argue that. That's why, Pat. You can't argue that, Pat. That's why. I'm just trying to figure out what's the difference. So when the triple Ks, the white nationalists, vote for the white candidate because they're white, why can't people vote for Kamala because she's black? I just want to know. I'm not voting based on color. I'm voting based on candidates. Right. And mind you, I do believe that people are voting for her because they feel like this is the candidate. She is the better choice. Right. But since everybody, because like the Dr. Umars and Tariq Nasheeds, they want to prove that she's not black, so you don't vote for her and stuff like that, right? They want to prove she's not black, so don't vote for her because she's not black. Okay, that's fine. If you say she Indian, I'm voting for her because she Indian. You say, oh, she a woman, I'm voting for her because she's a woman. If people are voting for her for those reasons and that's what they feel comfortable with, then that's what they feel comfortable with. But again, like I said, we never question why the triple K people, the triple K boys with the white hoods, the white nationalists, the alt-right, we never question why they vote for the white candidate. Because I'm going to go one step further. They didn't want Nikki Haley Indian ass up in there. And you know, Nikki Haley was the one running against Trump. Now, was she the better candidate than Trump? Yeah, I mean, she ain't got no indictments. But they didn't want her ass up in there because she didn't fit the mold of what they wanted. So they went with Trump. Now, will Nikki Haley ever admit that they didn't vote for her because she's Indian, even though she changed her name? But would she ever admit that? No, she won't. But like I said, if people feel comfortable for voting for a candidate because at the end of the day, it's all about relatability, right? If they feel like they relate to Trump because he's white, let them vote for him. Okay. You can't change their mind. Just like if people want to vote for Kamala because they feel like she's a woman, she's Indian, she's black, whatever they identify and they want to vote for her for, let them vote for her for that. Like, that's what I don't understand why that's a problem. Because we never question it. Like I said, when the triple K boys, the white nationalists, the alt-right, we never question it when they vote for the white candidate. We never question it. So why are we going to question it when they want to vote for Kamala? We shouldn't be. Reed, I don't agree with that it has anything to do about their having intellectual conversation. I'm having an intellectual conversation right now. You just don't like what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is factual. Now, if you're trying to say, oh, I'm saying that there's no racists in the Democratic Party, that's not what I'm saying. There's obviously people who are racist in the Democratic Party. However, all the triple K boys, the white nationalists, all those people, they vote for the white candidate. And I'm saying WHITE. And nobody ever says like, oh, well, you should vote based on this and based on that. No, they literally tell you, we ain't voting for this. Exactly. We never question that. Identity politics is dangerous. This woman locked up black women in the Bay Area. That's not true. Again, people are passing that on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with identity politics. Everybody plays it. A lot of people want to say only Democrats play identity politics. Okay, if that's true, why is there people behind Trump holding up blacks for Trump? Latinos for Trump? Republicans play identity politics as well, too. I'll go one step further. Christians, evangelicals for Trump, Christians for Trump. They play identity politics as well too. Now, should you go based on policy? Of course. That's why I'm going for Kamala. I'm going on based on policy. I'm going on based on her vision for the middle class. I'm voting for her based on the Supreme Court. And then if I choose to put in that, oh, I want to vote for her because she's black, then it is what it is. Thank you, Kiki. And I like her policies regarding the middle class. I like that she's going to, shout out to Kieran. I like her policy that she's going to raise the taxes on the wealthy. The corporate tax is going to 28%. Now, I think it should be more than 28%. It should go back to 35. But 28, I'll do that. But let me ask, somebody said something, I think I missed it. I did not dig up Ronald Reagan. Do you like her policies with immigrants? Well, she hasn't put her policies out for immigrants yet. Like she said, and going back to it, there was a bill, a very aggressive bill towards immigration. Trump told the Republicans, hey, don't put that through because I don't want that to be a win for the Democrats. Put it through when I get in office. So again, right now, that's why I'm all like, y'all need to check out who your congressman is in your area. Who's your Senate? Who's your senators, you know? Are you registered? I keep telling y'all to go to www.vote.org to make sure that you guys are registered. Cammie, that's not factual. Biden is not dropping them there. What's happening is that those governors, Ron DeSantis and what's the guy who can't stand? Abbott. I went there. Screw your mama. I went there. The guy that can't stand Abbott are shipping them over to these places. It's shipping them to New York, Chicago. And like I said, they definitely should have some kind of penalty for them shipping them over. Oh, and I'm glad that you're bringing up the money because here's the thing. Whenever they come over, they always get assistance. Like, that's not, oh, Biden's giving them all the money and he's giving them everything. No, every time they come over, they get assistance. That's not like, I know, what's his name? Eric Adams, right? He has like this debit card thing or something like that. Some kind of, it's not food stamps, but some kind of card system that he has. That's something that he's doing locally. Again, this is why local politics matter. Because yes, they can address the whole border issue. However, what are the people in your area doing? You have to check them. So that's something that Eric Adams needs to answer for. And then whoever the city council is, yeah, all those people. So at the border, yeah, that's definitely federal, right? But then when they get to your area, that's where it has to be addressed at. But the immigrants have always got government assistance and all that stuff. It's separate from the welfare that we have. A lot of people think it's in the same pot, but it's separate from what we have. Right. Right. And again, they have to address the root cause of it. But the local officials, and because I know, I guess technically, I think every city in the Bay Area is like a sanctuary city. But I you know, it's crazy, and you know, my heart goes out to the people in Chicago and the people in Chicago, people in New York, because I know there's been a lot where people are busing them from other states and stuff like that. However, I know California, we're actually a border state, and maybe if I lived in San Diego, I would feel differently. But I kind of don't. I honestly don't even think about it. I don't think about immigrants at all. I mean, I know they're here, obviously. You know, I ain't dumb, but for me, the immigrants aren't affecting my life where I'm all like, oh my God, I can't get it because again, they always say, oh, I'm not able to get a job because immigrants are taking my job. I'm not able to get housing because immigrants are taking my housing. I'm not able to get this because immigrants are getting this. Listen, they set it up for you to be angry because what's going to happen is that they're putting the immigrants in the inner cities and shit like that. They ain't gonna put them in Beverly Hills or in the suburbs. They're gonna specifically put them in the lower income areas and be like, y'all ninjas fight each other and figure it out. Like, let's be honest. So it's not as easy as people think because here's my thing. So, do we feel like Trump is going to stop the immigrants from coming? Or do we need to hold these businesses accountable that are hiring them and making money off of them because they can pay them under the table? Now, not all immigrants get paid under the table because they get their tax code and then they have to pay taxes like everybody else, right? That's only those who are granted temporary protected status or have pending asylum claim, etc. Unless an immigrant has some kind of legal humanitarian status, they don't receive anything. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. I was meaning to read it, but you know when I get in the rhythm, I gotta keep going. Republicans are trying to set up a battle between immigrants and blacks. Yeah, exactly. We know with the whole black job thing, they know they are getting the same type of funds. Immigrants get one-time check for food and housing. Oh, thank you, EH. No, Trump separated the children and their parents. Right. That's the thing. Immigration has always been an issue. It's just that, again, Republicans are better at messaging and letting you know they have open borders. Because what is the open border? Can anybody answer like what's the open border? Because when you hear open border, you're literally thinking like the border is just open. Then you're like, all right, come in. That's the way that they phrase open borders. Our borders aren't open. Like that's just words that they use. Our borders are not open, you guys. Stephanie, let the people know that the borders aren't open. Why did California CLBC the California Black Caucus a few things. So Cannon, I agree with you regarding the California Black Caucus. They did that to try to protect Newsom. I did speak about that not yesterday, but the day before. So first of all, they should have brought up that bill and then let Newsom veto it and make him look like the bad guy, right? Excuse me, instead of trying to save him. Secondly, regarding the funding for immigrants, what you're talking about is the California Dream for All, which that loan, you go in a lottery. Basically, they're saying if you're a taxpayer and if you're an immigrant, we're going to allow you to be part of this lottery and we'll pay the 20% up to $150K on your home loan or whatever. That's what that's about. While Black, not in quotations, Black says nothing about that. Well, that's a California policy. And again, a lot of people are saying, well, what's Kamala going to do for that? Blah, blah, blah. That's California. That's a California policy. So we, because I'm figuring you're in California too, we in California have to work that out. And I think I said the other day that we need to vote them out. If they're up for re-election, we need to vote out the members of the California Black Caucus. I said that the other day. Trump never finishes what he starts. He's all talk. Exactly. Illegal shouldn't get anything. Hi, AT2. Hey, Nicole, how you doing? So in some cases, maybe, but it's the tax credits. Hey, Princess, how you doing? It's not open. They want Black people to think with welfare mentality so that we fight in our communities. Exactly. Trust me, it ain't. It ain't. It's a damn police state down here. Right, Stephanie. Yeah, it's not open. George Washington 2021. Well, no, Tracy, because then we'll be slaves again. No, shit, we might be slaves or drunk in it, but I think I'll take Trump over George Washington. That's going too far. No such thing as open borders. Obama deported more illegal immigrants than American history. Right, Frederick. Reagan's making great. Yeah, and by the way, that's where the whole "Make America Great Again" came from. That came from Reagan. Campaign was about open borders. Reagan welcomed Latino immigrants. Trump renamed it "Making America Great Again." He made immigration and borders. Fear mongering. Exactly. Because even Bush was for like immigration as well too, which you guys might not know about. It's only until recent they made the immigrants like the bad guys and stuff like that. That's, like I said, immigration, it's a money-making business. This is why they don't want to solve it. Again, quotations. I live in the South and live in a town full of immigrants my whole life. They mind their own business and do the jobs Americans think they're too good to do. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. Are immigrants required to become naturalized? I don't know. I don't know. I know to process and become a citizen and stuff like that, you need money. That's why 90 Day Fiance is so popular. Okay, let me kind of skip ahead. I'm kind of behind you guys. Okay. Immigration has always been a problem. Yeah. Trump hires illegal immigrants at his properties. Yeah, he's been accused of not paying them. Gavin Newsom, let me read Sherry's. That's the Newsom thing. You have to vote for who you want after you've done your research. Exactly. Yes. You know. But yeah, going back, a lot of the stuff about immigration, that's like fear mongering. And again, I'm not saying that immigrants don't commit crimes and stuff like that, and people who are over here and shouldn't be over here, yeah, of course they should be deported. I think everybody agrees with that. If you are, deleting people and doing the most, yeah, you need to be deported. I don't think anybody has a problem with that, right? But it's literally this fear mongering, and when you have to worry about probably your next door neighbor around you more than you have to care about an immigrant. Tracy said, ignore me. I know you're just being funny, Tracy. It's fine. Illegal immigrants is illegal. My tax dollars should be for Americans. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to, let me use undocumented immigrants, because I don't want to trigger. Undocumented immigrants, they are paying taxes. They are paying taxes. Just like that whole thing about the loan thing for a down payment for a home. They have a tax ID code. You know how we have a social security number? Well, they have a tax ID. That's how they get recorded and stuff like that. And, they're able to find work. And again, after they get vetted and processed through the border, whatever reason they use, whether it's the asylum or whatnot, whatever, excuse that they use or the reason for it, it is what it is. They're here. But again, I would like to know, going back to Ronnie and going back to Cammy, I would like to know is what's going to be done to those governors, because I feel like something should be done. If they're not sending them back to their country, but they're sending them to, because let me tell you, Texas got a lot of land. Everywhere in Texas, we had to drive to. We literally had to drive everywhere to Texas. It's no, oh, this is in walking distance. You have to drive everywhere. So they got space in Texas. Don't let them think they ain't got space there. So going back to my point, what are they going to do about, these governors? That's what I would like to know, because they do need to be held accountable. Yeah, and maybe yeah, that's actually a good question. Hopefully they bring it up in the debate. I hope that they bring it up. Here in Chicago, we have so many issues in the city. There's no telling where they sent these poor people. Yeah. Oh, I know a lot of people wanted to talk about the Venezuelan thing. As I understand that, because they even said the Venezuelans are taking over Chicago, and like there was this black dude, he was all like, "We over here on some boulevard, they ain't running nothing over here, blah blah blah. We outside, and all this other stuff." I shared it on my Twitter, so you can check it out there. But I know they're saying they're taking over in Colorado. Real quick about Colorado. So what's going on is that it's like a slumlord. And what they're doing is the propaganda. They're just showing this one video of like this apartment with a whole bunch of guns and stuff like that. Nobody knows where that exactly is. Like they're just showing that same video of the people with the guns. It's like this red door. Y'all know what video I'm talking about. Y'all seen like this red door or whatever? And like it's these dude with guns, and then it's this other time. It looks like it's a black dude and a white dude, and they're like kicking down this door. It's like the same door. I don't know exactly what's going on. But these are like apartment buildings from like slumlords who don't keep up with fixing up the places, and the places are basically the shit. What do you call that when you can't live somewhere? Like they're practically condemned. That's what it's called. The Chinese and Russians own most of the condos in NYC. There's no room for Americans looking for space. Yeah, because they come over here from their country and use cash. Cash is everything. Cash rules everything around me. There's a reason why Wu-Tang made that song. Yeah, uninhabitable. And then I was also thinking too, like, how many Venezuelans is there? Like, I was all like, it's enough Venezuelans to like take over, because they're saying like, oh yeah, the Venezuelans are coming over from the border, and I'm all like, well, Colorado is not connected to the border. So again, it's a lot of like information that's not being given out. It's just like, we're gonna go with the propaganda. Just like everybody is under the impression that Trump is going to be better for the economy. And we can dig into the economy. I want to say that for a different show. We can definitely dig into the economy. But I want to say this. Before Biden got into office, don't forget where we were. People were out of jobs. States were closed. People were struggling. Now, it might have seemed people had money because they had their little checks, or they were getting unemployment, because remember, the unemployment was good, right? It may have seemed that everything was all right, but we were literally struggling. Trump did not create that great economy. He was handed a good economy. The economy was already bubbling, just like when he would talk about the black unemployment rate. Well, it was already going down when Obama was there. He inherited that. Because nobody talks about how the stock market was crashing at its lowest during Trump. Most of it, yes, was during the COVID years, but also before then in 2019. Excuse me. Nobody talks about the opportunity zones. Now, with the opportunity zones, what was supposed to happen was that, oh, people are able to get these tax cuts for buying buildings in the hood and stuff like that, right? Or in, cities, in major cities or whatever, buying buildings, apartments, putting buildings and stuff like that, they get this tax credit. So that was then supposed to create jobs, right? What ended up happening was that these people, knowing the rules and knowing what they can do, can spend like upwards to like 10 years building something and eventually never employ anybody, never get anybody working in these buildings. They can just have these places being built and literally still reap the benefits of the tax cut. So they can build for the next 10 years and not produce any jobs for anybody and stuff like that. But that tax cut, or those tax incentives, they're still making money off of that. So it's a lot of different stuff that happened or stuff that went on during the Trump years. But just know he made sure that the rich stayed rich and they made their money. Hello, Keita. Thank you for coming. What's up, CV? Pandemic that Trump failed to lead, and you listening to the My Pillow guy. Exactly. Republicans are so good at messaging. They have poor Americans blaming their misfortunes on poor immigrants instead of blaming the rich who control everything. Exactly. And, I always talk about the tax cuts, that thing that Trump put through. The tax cut literally benefited the rich. And it was supposed to be that whole trickle-down economics. That trickle-down, listen, rich people do not care about poor people that much. I know y'all see the Beyonce and Taylor Swift donating to charities and stuff like that, but that's a tax write-off. They're literally not saying, oh, I made more money, so now I can give more money. Who says that? Because don't forget, those same companies who got those tax cuts were still laying off people. And I was saying it was Apple. It was actually AT&T. I apologize, you guys. I posted it on my community wall. It was AT&T, Walmart, and a few others. They were laying off people when they got those tax cuts. And Trump made y'all believe that, oh, the tax cuts were going to create more jobs and stuff like. No, more jobs have been created under Biden and Kamala. What's up, Mary? Again, these are things that you can look up. Essentially, our taxes got raised, and so we had to pay for it. I'm from Texas. Thank you, Christina. I'm from Texas. A lot of Mexicans come here, work in construction, work hard enough to start their own companies and hire Americans. See? I know again, Kieran, you're going to say, oh, no, those are just jobs that were stopped during the pandemic, blah, 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 blah. I forgot what the exact number is of how many jobs were lost versus how many were getting, but he still had a surge of more jobs created. Even if you take the numbers of jobs that came back after the pandemic, it still evens out. Now Biden and Harris administration is giving free housing to, oh, here we go. Again, like I said, anytime anybody comes over to this country and they get them temporary status or whatever, it's always a thing, no matter who the president is. Working doesn't make you American, though. It's more than that. I'm not sure about that. The government does not create jobs. Oh, okay. Saying Democrats, Republicans are the same is just being intellectually um, exactly, Brooke. This notion of contributing doesn't make anyone American. You can work anywhere in the world. Well, no, I think Ms. Brooke, what was trying to be conveyed is that they're out here working like everybody else, and eventually start their own business. These are hardworking people, because basically the notion is that all these immigrants are coming and taking money away from us and all this stuff. It was a little deeper. It is those greedy corporations that create jobs. Well, I don't know about the greedy ones creating the jobs, but what happens is that the president implements policies and gives certain funding to create jobs, just like the infrastructure bill. The infrastructure bill has created jobs. But in America, if you work here, you are contributing to the economy through their taxes. Right, Ronnie, right. But I think it's more like, oh, it makes them American. Well, they still have to get citizenship, but, they're contributing like everyone else. Uh, hmm. But them starting companies don't make it right either, because some discriminate against Black Americans. Right. This is why they don't like the DEI thing, because they're all like, oh, DEI, it's giving people that don't deserve jobs and all this stuff, and we know that's not true. Why didn't they work hard in Mexico? Well, some of them don't come from Mexico. So I used to think everybody that came over the border, I used to think they were all from Mexico. No, they're all from Central America. Yeah, they're from all over. They have to come up through Mexico because Mexico is where the border is. Our border only touches Mexico and Canada. Say what you want. Black people are still asking for the same thing 60 years. So not matter what you think about me saying the Dems and Repubs are the same people, then someone has been asleep. We should dive into that in another show. Why come to a country that discriminates against people that were there, and then use contributing as an excuse? I think that's describing two different things, Brooke. 82, now you wrong for this title. Laugh out loud. We don't owe Kamala a damn thing. No, here's the thing. We owe her respect, and we owe her not to let the others disrespect her. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with my title. I think my title is wonderful. Again, the way we treat people is how other people are going to see it, and they're able to question it. There should never be nobody white questioning her race. Now, if we want to pick apart and say what percentage of Black she is, that's on us. But we should never embolden these people, these right wingers, or Trump to ever question her Blackness and this and that. Why don't they apply for asylum in Mexico? I don't know. Why they don't work hard in their own home? Well, again, I think that's getting to why they're coming to this country. For example, since we're talking about Venezuela, they're saying that they have a dictator. So if you have a dictator, you're going to try to run away from a dictator. Just like the reason why people come from Cuba. They're trying to escape a dictatorship. We don't owe anyone respect who doesn't respect us. Quit fighting for people who haven't fought for you. Okay. Oh, so you're saying that she doesn't respect us. Okay. Sorry, I'm on my Miss Barbara. Hey, Hey, we had to have Miss Barber here. We had to have Miss Barber here. She. I don't know where Miss Barber is. Usually she be here. I think it's pretty dumb to question her nationality. Right. It sounds like people in the chat don't know what is written in the Statue of Liberty or what it symbolizes. Ooh, that's a good one. She chose Meg the Pegasus. What's wrong with Megan? That was perfectly said. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, we got an hour out of this. All right, you guys, I only do an hour. But I appreciate this conversation. But yeah, basically my point was, I think the conversation about her accent and the whole whether she's black or not, I feel that it's stupid. It's a stupid conversation. Like, let's talk about policy. Again, why does Kamala not have her policies on her website? That's what we should be talking about. We shouldn't have to go to every different website and pull clips off the internet to figure out what her policy is. Now, that's a fair question. Whether or not you think she's 2% black, Indian, Irish, whatever, that doesn't matter. Whether you think she was using some kind of accent and she was trying to sound black or whatever, that doesn't matter. Again, it's policy, policy, policy. But anyway, and again, I'm not telling you guys you need to vote for her, but you should register on www.vote.org. Make sure you guys are registered or register to vote. It's important. Check out your local politics. I know on Monday, I'm gonna try to see if we can do the debate. Y'all put a 1 if you guys want me to cover the debate. I think what I'm gonna do is have one phone pointing to the TV, and then I'm gonna have the other phone looking at me. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll have one looking at the TV and then one looking at me, so that way we can discuss and talk about it. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do that. That'll be cool. So we can watch it together. Biased? I don't think I'm biased. Kepler, you might have a point. I ain't gonna lie. You might have a point. But Freddie, that's why we're here. Like, when she lies, we'll call out the lie. When Trump lies, we'll call out the lies. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna try to work it out. Yeah, I'll definitely try to work it out to where we'll do it that way, because I'll be able to. I'm gonna have to do a practice run and make sure that the sound is loud enough, and then do it that way. Yeah, a debate watch party. Yeah, that'd be dope. Because I don't want to try to share the screen, because sometimes it'd be messing up and stuff like that. So I don't think I want to do the share the screen. I'll donate to the channel. Oh, thank you, Blessing. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll do a poll on my community wall. I think more than likely I'm going to do it, but I'll do a poll on my community wall and see if you guys want to watch party. And I'm still doing the election night watch party too as well. So, yeah, we'll work out that as well too. But I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. I might be back a little later because I want to talk about a few more things that's not related to politics. So I might be back later. But I love y'all. Be safe. Love one another. Oh, how you hit the like button. Those 3 dots on top. That's how you hit the like button, y'all. A lot of people forget about that. But hit those 3 dots, and then you're able to hit the like button.
Monica.